Okay, in this video we're going to set up I/O so we can work in this particular room. I go Setup, and I go to I/O. And there's an interesting thing about Pro Tools. It will load up the setup, the I/O, the in and out settings from the last Pro Tools session that was booted on the computer. And this one was actually in surround, which we're not going to be doing here. We're doing stereo here in Hybrid Mix Lab, so this is all wrong. So it's loaded something from either another student or another thing you've been working on, and you need to clear this all out. If you're loading a file that you've already been working on, just simply hit the Restore from Session button, and it will clear out and load your saved I/O, and you got to make sure the Apply to All Tabs button is pressed so it will load it for all tabs. But we're not doing that. We're starting completely fresh here with an all new session. So what we need to do is delete all this junk. So I'm going to hold down Option and start here on the Input tab, click on the Inputs and hit the Delete button. Alternative way to do this would be, let's see, the Output tabs. I could click on one and Command Alt, Command A, and select, and I could actually hit the Delete button. So there's a couple different ways to do it. And I want to delete the buses if they were there, and I'm going to select my inserts and delete them as well. Now I've deleted everything, I want to set them up fresh. I go to Inputs, and I do want to double check, especially if you're in a room that alternates, or you alternate between surround and stereo. You do want to make sure your default format is set to 5.1 or stereo, depending on what you're doing. So stereo. So I'm going to hit, default. And I want to double check that over here too. Look, this one is on 5.1, and that would mess me all up. And so I actually want to set that to stereo. And I'd hit default. Now it's making a nice stereo. And I'm going to do my buses default, sets myself up for mixing and working. And I want to do my inserts as well, because that lets me use hardware gear in the studio. So I hit default. At this point, we're all good. We're all set up. Excellent work.